Welcome. Welcome. This week's movie is Popeye's Revenge. And Popeye sure gets his revenge on teenagers because every horror movie kills teenagers. That's the horror movie staple since horror movies began because horror movies dislike teenagers just like everyone dislikes teenagers because teenagers are teenagers. It starts out with the story of Popeye. No, not the cartoon story of Popeye where he's a sailor and he smokes pipe and he fights Pluto. No, not that. He's a deformed baby whose parents love him and send him to school where he's made fun of. But a girl stands up for him, but they beat up the girl. So Popeye chokes the one guy till his eyes pop out his head. I almost knocked my glasses, threw my glasses across the room. That would not have been a good thing. So his parents do the one thing that parents should do in this situation. They lock him in the basement. Because if your kid does anything wrong in life, you just lock him in the basement. They get an F, you lock him in the basement. They don't eat their dinner, you lock them in the basement. They light the gazebo on fire, you lock them in the basement. They lock themselves in the basement, you lock them in the basement. So they lock them in the basement, and then an angry mob forms, and they light the house on fire. So Popeye escapes, getting burns on himself, but then drowning in the nearby lake. And then we cut to 15 years later. Now, Popeye's 5 in the beginning. This is 15 years later, and he looks at least 40. So Popeye's got that aging disease that Robin Williams had in that movie, Jack. So these people are going to Popeye's house to do their online show, Haunted Houses of Evil, which is the worst name for any show I've ever heard in my entire life. Literally, my show's names are better, and my shows don't have names. So they get there, and one goes outside to get sound, and the other two start dry humping in the basement. Well, this chick that got sound gets killed by Popeye. Threw you for a loop there. You thought the two in the basement would get killed by Popeye. Guess what? They do too. Everybody gets killed by Popeye. And then the title screen pops up. So now we meet our actual main characters. Yeah, you thought those people were important. Those people aren't important at all. So then we meet our actual main character, Tara, her boyfriend Dylan, and their friends who are going to renovate Popeye's house into a haunted house because Tara's parents need money and Tara's mother owns the house. Which is always a good idea to go renovate a haunted house into a bigger haunted house because you need money. Never mind, you could just charge people to check out the actual haunted house. No, we have put other spooks in it. Now, Popeye only comes out when the fog comes in. Now, we don't know if the fog controls Popeye or Popeye controls the fog. I like to believe it's a Kane Undertaker type thing, where Undertaker summoned the lightning and Kane summoned the fire, so I think Popeye summons the fog. So anyway, it's going to be a foggy weekend, but Tara doesn't believe in Popeye. So she rallies her friends to start renovating the house, to start putting up signs and stuff to make it scarier. But her one friend is cheating on his girlfriend who's there with her other friend who is there. So this gets complicated. So anyways, the cheating friend eventually gets in a hot tub that night with his side piece, and they break up, only for his side piece to then be killed by Popeye. But not before we're introduced to Popeye's sister earlier in the night, Olive, who damns them all. As you would if you were Popeye's sister. So in this one, Olive Oil is Popeye's sister, who he just occasionally bangs on the side. He really wants the girl who saved him, who we'll find out who it is later. So Popeye is going on his killing spree. Now the parents of these kids are trying to figure out where kids are, and eventually do, on the second morning, figure out they went to Popeye's house. And the parents know Popeye is real. So they get in their car to drive the 12 hours to Popeye's house. Popeye, though, continues his bloodthirsty quest for revenge. This time taking on the guy who is doing the side piece, who tries to fight him, but Popeye is just too strong. In the meantime, we see Tara's boyfriend Dylan's shirtless and realize he has no body. He has arms, he has legs, he has a head, but his chest is just clear and we can see through the wall through him. And then Popeye tries to take out the guy's actual girlfriend, who he runs over with a tractor. A big lawnmower tractor. Because apparently Popeye is a groundskeeper, which he does for the University of Maryland. Actually, this movie's British, so he probably does it for somewhere in Britain. Maybe Wrexham. I could see Ryan Reynolds hiring Popeye to do the grounds for Wrexham. Also, Beanie dies during this, who is a pot-smoking character who looks like Brendan Fraser. I have a theory he's Brendan Fraser's British love child. Because, you know, Brendan Fraser did movies all over the world. So all over the world, he's got these love children. And so in the next Mummy movie, we're going to meet all of them in it. So now, Tara, Dylan, and the only surviving member, Kathy, realize Popeye is real and are running for their very lives. Kathy, though, can only run about 2 feet before she falls because she's actually a toddler. True fact. She's just really tall for one. So then the parents show up, and Dylan's mom immediately dies because she steps on a landmine named Popeye. But Tara's parents find her and Dylan and are going to escape. But Kathy finds their car, which Popeye flips over and lights the gas tank on fire, and the car explodes. So then the four of them, not including Popeye, because he doesn't like hang around with regular people, go to the lodging, at which point Olive Oil shows up, stabs her father to death, stabs her mother, and gets covered in gasoline as she's fighting Dylan. This later winds up being Olive Oil's big finale, as Dylan lights her on fire. And then we find out Tara is the girl who defended Popeye. So Popeye's yelling for Tara as he kills Tara's mother. I don't know if he's yelling for Tara because he likes her or just because he wants her to watch him kill her mother. So finally, they defeat Popeye by running him over with the very thing he uses to get paid, his tractor. Now Wrexham does not have their lawn maintenance person. And everyone lives happily ever after. And that is Popeye's Revenge. It actually has some really good kills. And other than that, it's a very basic horror movie. Except like 4 people's eyes pop out of their socket during this movie. It has some decent kills. Yeah, it's actually pretty decent. It's got good kills, but it's a very basic horror movie. So it's decent. It's good. It's entertaining. Join me next week for I'll cover ICP in wrestling. Not that I'm seeing P, but and we're gonna do the movie Pinocchio on the Moon. His nose grew long enough he can use it as a stair stepper to the moon.